All right, everyone, welcome back to After the Scales, episode 93, presented by DJD Graphics. I'm Shaun Blight, along with that guy from TikTok, Jacob Dove. I didn't realize my co-host was so famous until this past week or two down in Florida. Man, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm great. I didn't know I was famous too, but yeah, it was pretty awesome. We've been at so many racetracks. I've kind of looked at the calendar, and man, we've been all over the place: asphalt, dirt, short tracks, big tracks. We've seen it all. We went to Daytona, had a good time there. Watched the truck race. Man, it went by fast, but it was definitely a long couple of weeks there, just grinding out, doing media and photos and videos and articles. So glad you were able to come down from Canada and enjoy it with me.
Yeah, it was an awesome time. I'm gonna have to catch up on some sleep this weekend for sure. I'm still got a lot of editing and stuff I need to do. As you can probably tell by our shirts, we've got none other than Chargin Charlie Mefford, the Pit Lizard Pimp himself, is going to be joining us. We're really excited for that. I'm sure we got no shortage of topics to talk about with Charlie, so we can't wait for him to join us because he had a pretty good speed weeks down in Florida. I'm not sure where you want to kick things off. I guess maybe it's best to go back to the start. I just wanted to quickly touch on some of the ASCS stuff we saw. Pretty cool. The first night Tyler Courtney gets back into a race car, he wins. I know it's I say only 360s. I don't mean it in a derogatory term, just for him because he's a 410 guy. But he won two of the three down there. Brady Bacon won, and it was. I think those were three of the best races we saw. The whole time that we were watching races down at Volusia, and that's not a knock to some of the other races, but man, we just saw some incredible racing throughout the field with some of those guys. Some of the best 360 racers in North America showing up. Some guys that we don't normally get to see run 360s, and they put on a really good show.
Yeah, great storyline starting out the year with Tyler Courtney winning back to back in the 360 after his injury. Really cool to see. And, Brady Bacon, who's a non wing guy, he's been focused on the wing stuff recently. So it's cool to see him get a win and then eventually see him take the wing off and race at Ocala. Even seeing our buddy Cam Martin from Iowa battling up there against Courtney and some of the top guys in the country was really cool. Thought he was going to get the win. Really good effort by Cam and even his brother Chris Martin, who get the track record in the 360. Great job by those brothers. But yeah, so really cool storylines coming out of the 360s and going into the 410s. A lot of those guys sticking around, and even our guy DJ Christie, a guy who's always run 360s, throws in a 410 and had a pretty solid week with the World Outlaws. Went back down to Hendry and had a great race there too. So yeah, it was really cool seeing all the guys that we've had on podcast or we've interacted with do really well and see them, either win or get close to a win.
Yeah, it just some of the behind the scenes for race fans maybe put things in perspective with DJ because I've gotten to know him pretty well, him and his dad over the last year and a half or so. DJ finished 10th in the B main. I think the first or second night with the Outlaws, and how just excited they were, how happy they were with their night. And there's fans up in the stands that might look at that, or fans on social media and say, "Oh, this whatever. This guy finished 10th in the B main." Garrett Williamson finished ninth. Brenham Crouch finished eighth. He finished ahead of Danny Dietrich. And for a guy who was in his, I think, fifth or sixth 410 start, running with those guys, even though he didn't transfer, and to see the smiles on their faces and the fist pumps and the high fives, stuff like that matters to drivers, and it's cool to be in that space where you get to see that up close. A young driver who's making that kind of progress. So, just you watch from the stands, you don't maybe know the backstories. All these guys have a story, and everyone's trying to get to the top. They're trying to run with the big boys, and when you see those little wins that teams get, man, it's pretty cool. Even though it might not show up on the paycheck or on the scoreboard at the end of the night, but it's really cool to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I always love an underdog story, and you have to really realize, this is the beginning of the year. Everybody is coming down here to the state of Florida race. Like, it's just overwhelming how much racing is really going on, and you get to see so many different drivers, kind of like the Chili Bowl, right, where we were there. You got to see NASCAR guys, IndyCar guys, dirt late model and sprint car guys. Like, you can see that, but at different tracks around this entire state, all in the entire month. So
Yeah.
Speed Weeks is one of my favorite times of the years. And I think, with the 410 stuff, the biggest storyline was David Gravel, the reigning champ, back-to-back champ to be exact, not picking up a win. He was really close. I thought that battle between Anthony Macri and him, and I know, Sean, you can agree too, that was a really good race.
Yeah.
We saw Buddy Kofoid win as well. Carson Macedo was third and second almost every night. Like, it was really cool to see a lot of different guys up there battling and competing against the best.
Yeah, we were talking what our favorite race was, kind of on my way to the airport, and that one jumped out at me, the Macri Gravel battle. Two guys at the absolute top of their games right now, and it's cool. You got the true outlaw with Anthony Macri, who's just going to be showing up at Knoxville and Eldora and these big races with the Outlaws and High Limit and stuff, and he's going to be in contention for every crown jewel, just like he was last year, and. Spencer Basin getting the win. I know it wasn't a points win, but he gets that big win the first night in that car. That was a cool story. And that had to feel good for his confidence and that team's confidence. So that was pretty cool. And that's a beautiful race car. That's one of my favorite sprint cars now, the Richard Petty blue. You might not really be able to see it on TV, but you'll get the chance this year if you go to some races that that thing really stands out. That is a beautiful race car. So kudos to those guys, because that thing that's a work of art.
Yeah, shout out to Idell Designs. Dylan Brady designed that, and it's really old school throwback that Ricky Stenhouse wanted to do. Move the number forward instead of the back. That's always been when it was with Sheldon, and that Chrome 17 really stands out, and one of my personal favorites too. But yeah, Mason getting a win in almost 3 years. 3-year drought without a win is crazy, and I know Mason's been so close. He's been in different rides and all that, so it definitely was big lift off his shoulders to just knock out a win off the bat. And I know, like you said, it wasn't a points night, but he was definitely excited to finally get that monkey off his back, and now you kind of go in the rest of this year. And I know we talked about it in our article too with Dylan Terry on Race Pro Weekly about some of the guys that we are looking forward to seeing having a standout year, who's under pressure, and I talked about Baston being a standout. So hopefully he keeps that momentum up and proves that I'm right. But I think this is going to be a really good, competitive series that maybe people are not expecting. I know on paper everything's David Gravel's probably just going to run away with it, but I think Buddy Kofoid's like right there now. Carson Macedo's really consistent, and make sure to check out that article that we talked about to preview the World of Outlaw sprint cars. And along with that, we had the UMP Modified.
Before you get into the UMPs, I just wanted to touch on add Donnie Schatz to that list, man, because if that guy figures out how to qualify in that car, nobody passed more cars in with the World of Outlaws this weekend than Donnie Schatz did. So, we said to keep our eye on him, and he proved it, because he was hard charger, I think, 2 of the 3 nights. He's proven, man, he's still a threat. He's not going away. So that was cool to see. Everyone who knows me knows I'm not the biggest Donnie Schatz fan, but you sure appreciate the talent. So good for Donnie, because he's still got it.
Yeah, and along with the sprint cars, we got to see 2 weeks full of UMP modifieds there. A lot of modifieds. I think ended up being over 100 showing up for the second week. And man, it just seemed like every night there were so many, heat races and last chance showdowns. And I just want to give a shout out to the guys who, go out there, spend a lot of time and effort to race, because it's not a pretty penny. I mean, racing is expensive. So racing 2 weeks straight every night is a grind. So whether you like the UMP Modifieds or not, you got to give a shout out to those guys, including Chargin Charlie, who works on his own stuff. He doesn't have a bunch of crew guys or crew chiefs work on it. It's just his family. And, we got to see Kenny Wallace race. That was really cool, hanging out with those guys. And Nick Hoffman and the Elite Chassis was insane. I tweeted out there saying, if you're driving Elite Chassis, you're probably going to win one of these Gators. And I was pretty correct. I know we were talking about Nick Hoffman, and down in Victory Lane, he said he had 17 of the 24 cars in the field, which is pretty crazy to think of. And Ricky Thornton Jr. was one of them. He had a brand new Elite Chassis. He was really dominant. And then his teammate Jordan Kohler ended up getting the big Gator on the final night. Shout out to him as well. A guy who's on a struggle bus kind of in the late models, went down to the UMP Modifieds, and man, he really shined in that. So the Kohler Motorsports cars are really fast. Kenny was consistent every night. Even regular guys like Mike McKinney and all the regulars were really cool. Kyle Hammer, it was good to see him as well. So even Ken Schrader coming down, old NASCAR legend. I know a lot of people are a fan of him in the NASCAR days, and it's just cool to see, Justin Allgaier, Justin Haley, the guys we, watch at Daytona are hanging out 2 weeks at Volusia racing UMP Modifieds.
And you know who beat a lot of those guys? Our boy Tricky Tristan Chamberlain. And I think it said it was his 8th UMP Modified start, and he won a Gator. Like, good for that kid. Like, he had a lot on his plate last year. I know we'll get into the World of Outlaw late model stuff in a bit, and we'll probably talk more about it in future episodes. But he had a lot going on last year with studying for his schooling and all that kind of stuff. And it just seemed like he was driving with a lot more confidence, both in the modified and the late model. So, yeah, Tricky got a Gator, and that was really cool to see. I know his mom was getting teared up in Victory Lane. And yeah, there's a lot of Buzzy Rudiman. How about that guy still getting after it? That was really cool to see. I wasn't expecting him to be there. So, Kenny Wallace, Allgaier, been fans of those guys for a long time. So yeah, cool to see them get behind the wheel of, in Allgaier's case, get behind the wheel of something different.
Yeah, even David Stremme, Matt Craft, and I joke around saying it's the retirement home for NASCAR, but when you're growing up a NASCAR fan, you don't really get to see those guys up close and personal unless you like run into them. But just seeing them come back to their grassroots is really cool, and which is good for the sport. I know some people are like, "Oh, we don't need any NASCAR influence on dirt. We like it how it is." But it is good at the end of the day that there's more people pouring money, time, and effort into the sport. So it's really cool. Mm-hmm. And moving on over to the dirt late models, another great car count. Had the big block modifieds with them as well. I know we went on the asphalt stuff as well, but I wanted to touch on the late model and big block stuff because we had a bunch of other guys that we're buddies with, had on the podcast, run and do really well. I know Felix Wall, our guy who has our After the Scale sticker on the car. He recently lost all his stuff up there in that fire, and it was a trip. We were just really grateful that Felix was able to come down and race and be able to have a great run. He was consistent every night in that big Gator championship.
Yeah, it's they had that tragic loss with the longtime family friend of theirs that passed in the fire as well, and losing the family business in the fire. And Felix, I was talking to him a couple of times, and while I was talking to him, people just kept coming up to him and offering their sympathies and just how happy they were to see him down there, because he's one of these guys. If anyone's ever spent any time around Felix, he puts a smile on your face because he's always got one on. So it was good for him. I know, like, he got his mind off of everything else and he got to focus on racing, which is, I think, healthy for everybody when they're going through that kind of thing, and still had a lot of friends and family around him. So good on Felix. The final night there, he went 21st he was 4th, and then Matt Shepard got him off the last corner of the last lap and finished 5th. So 21st to 5th, he put on a hell of a show. So yeah, it was just cool to be around Felix and see him at the track again.
And another feel-good story was Stuart Friesen coming back after his injury and winning in his big block modified, and then going at the Daytona and racing his truck. Matt Williamson doing Matt Williamson things, winning 2 in a row there. He was really strong. I thought it was really cool on the final night. He wins the Big Gator Championship, and as soon as he gets out of the car, he's drinking a Michelob Ultra, which is really badass. Larry White getting the win there. So different winners there. I thought if it stayed a little bit less caution, I thought it would have been an even better feature. I was just happy to see the big blocks because we don't really get them that much, only this time of year down here for Speed Week. So really cool to see them and some of the guys that I normally don't get to see race. So
yeah, and that race too on the Saturday, Jacob. Like, I know Larry White ran away with it a little bit, but yeah, 2nd and 3rd, you had Alex Payne and Matt Williamson throwing sliders at each other, trading second back and forth. And then you had Matt Shepard and Felix Waugh battling for 4th and 5th each lap. So sometimes it's not the battle for the lead that makes for a great race, because you saw 2 of the best battles all week were for 2nd and 3rd and then 4th and 5th in that race. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of point that out, how much I enjoyed that race, other than the fact that the leader kind of checked out.
Yeah, definitely. And moving over to the dirt late models, we got to see a lot of Nick Hoffman in Victory Lane, but also in the start of the week with the dirt car racing, they split up the field, and saw Nick Hoffman, our boy Michael Leach, and then also along Turbo get the victories there. And man, we weren't there for Michael's win, but another one of our buddies who found victory lane, guy who just works his ass off, trying to get as much experience and seat time as he can, and finally rewarded with it with a feature win. I don't care if it was a split field or whatever. It's just super cool to see Mikey get some positive going after some struggles. And I wish we were there for it, but I got to see Nick Hoffman win a lot. And then on the final night, Brandon Shepard and the Rocket One car gets the win after an exciting feature there, 50 laps, the longest race of the entire week, and put on a show. Everyone thought Nick Hoffman was just going to take off and win it, but we saw Bobby Pierce come up there and finish second. Even T-Mac had some great strides throughout the week from the B mains all the way up to the front. Just a lot of movers and shakers. I mean, what were some of the things that stood out to you, Sean, with the dirt late models?
Yeah, I mean, with the dirt late models, you're always going to have the guys at the top that do well. You're going to expect that. I mean, Devin Moran had a really off week, so he decided to load up on Saturday and not even race and just focus on the Lucas deal. We spent some time talking to the JCM guys with Brendan Smith. I know he's you know him as another fellow Floridian. I think that team's going to be sneaky good this year. Like we talked to Colton Miller, the owner. We talked to a couple of the crew guys like Brett. There just seems to be some rejuvenation there. They had Spencer Hughes there for years, and I think it was just time for everyone to turn the page on that. And they really just seem, Colton's invested in a couple new crew guys. Brendan was qualifying really good, and then he kind of slipped back in the feature, but that's a group, man. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of raw talent. If he can just kind of harness that and be consistent, that team's going to be maybe one to keep an eye on this year.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what Brendan does in the JCM Motorsports equipment. I know they're upgrading with the rocket chassis stuff, so it's going to be exciting to really get that support. I know we were talking about it, getting a full crew and crew chief behind it. So looking forward to that. Another couple guys that stood out to me was Ricky Thornton Jr. had another quiet week at Volusia. Hudson O'Neill back in the 71 car instead of the Rumley 6. Wasn't as dominant as he was, but still got one of the feature wins early on in the week. So it will be interesting to see how Hudson does now going into the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series. And I think some of the best racing has been put on at Volusia this past couple weeks there in all divisions. Since going there since a kid, I can't remember the last time. It used to be just one bottom lane. Everybody's following the leader. We could actually, pass, get slide jobs. I know a lot of people on social media watching on Dirt Vision had a lot of positive things to say. Yeah. And we obviously want to thank Volusia World Racing Group and Race Pro Weekly for allowing us to cover it.
Yeah, I'd never been to Volusia before, so that's kind of what I was expecting. Everyone's saying, "Oh, one lane racetrack with the sprint cars, especially," and we saw some incredible racing throughout the week with everything. So, hats off to the track crew there. I don't know if the colder temperatures had anything to do with that, or if they put new dirt in, or whatever the case was. But yeah, the racing was incredible. I echo Jacob's sentiments there with the thanks to everyone who helped get us there and let us work for them and bring the action closer to you guys. So we really appreciate that.
And Sean got to see a gator kind of in the pond.
Yeah, it was sort of. I didn't really, it was just, I didn't get to see the gator doing much, and it just kind of popping its head out. I was a little disappointed with that. Maybe next year we'll and one more thing, I guess, since we're talking about dirt, Trey Osborne, man. One of the highlights of the week. We only got to one non-wing USAC race, but the one we did get to see was probably the coolest one with that 28-year-old Mopar motor that Trey himself rebuilt. Trey got his first ever USAC win. Definitely the tallest guy to ever win a USAC race. I think Brian mentioned that on the broadcast. So it's so cool to see those guys with a lower budget competing against Logan Seavey and Justin Grant and all those guys. And that was a really cool story. So hats off to Trey Osborne. Wanted to make sure we mention him.
Yeah, 6'8", Mr. Tall. It was insane to watch him climb out of the car and stand on the roll cage. I thought he was going to fall over, but really cool story there. Didn't think he was going to hold on, but he just absolutely blew him out of the water. Between him and Chase Dawkins, they made contact. I know we were standing down there in turn 4, turn our heads, and they're running over each other's tires. I thought they were going to wreck, and they finished ahead 1-2 of Logan Seavey, who's one of the best non-wing drivers in the country. So different winners every night at Ocala. I know we wanted to get there more, but just so much racing going on. So really cool story there, and shout out to Trey Osborne for sure. And hopefully we have more good stories like that and more first-time winners. It sucked to see our boy Kobe Simpson, who we had on the podcast, end up in a bad wreck, and glad he was able to walk away. And Chase Howard, shout out to him for giving a ride. A lot of guys tearing up some stuff, and it's cool to see other competitors offer a second car so that way they can race throughout the week.
Yeah, and that's what makes racing so special at every level. You always see guys helping out other guys, and there's a lot of that goes on that we never hear about. But when we do, we want to shout that out. So yeah, that was awesome at Chase Howard. I know Kobe posted that on his social media, but not everybody saw it. So that was really really cool. So good on them. And we're gonna have a lot more to talk about as the weeks go on. I'm not going to be at a race in person for at least a month. Got the short track super series hitting at Port Royal, but that's kind of a 50-50 shot of whether that event happens every year or not. You, however, you're still going to be hitting up racetracks. You just got a couple of days off to regroup. So what are you going to be doing?
Yeah, a few days to kind of recover and try to catch up on sleep. It's been a lot, but I'm excited to go to Alltech Thursday and Friday for the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series season opener. First time since 2019, I believe this is where it's going to be a split field where all the Lucas guys are going to be going to one track and all the World of Outlaws guys are going to another. And that's okay. I know some people are upset about it, but I'm happy. As long as we're promoting the tracks down here in Florida, I'm going to support it. So Saturday, I am going to go down to my old home track of Hendry County Speedway Park in Clewiston, Florida, for the Swamp Cabbage 100. First time they're ever having the World of Outlaws, so I have to be there. I used to grind it out back in the day, going with my dad and my old boss, and rain delays and mosquitoes biting us and getting sunburnt. There was like 5 people in the grandstands. We've seen it all, and it's just super cool to see how much money and attention finally that the track's going to get. Southernmost dirt track in the United States. So make sure to come on down if you're in the area. I know it's still cold in some parts of the area, so hopefully you stuck around from Volusia and can enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great season for the both the World of Outlaws late models and the Lucas Oil late models. Yeah, it seems with all these touring series, they've never had so many full-time guys. And yeah, really excited to see how that works out. And yeah, normally it's you've got kind of some time. You got guys that will run the Lucas deal, and then you can run the Outlaw deal, and then kind of decide which series you want to run. But you've sort of got to make that decision ahead of time now with how things are set up. So interesting with the split field. So we'll see kind of who goes where. We saw our boy Corey Lawler heading down there, getting ready for All Tech. So we want to wish him good luck as well as everybody else. But yeah, it's still going to be a busy time for you, and can't wait to follow along to see what you're going to be up to.
Yeah, and appreciate all the people who are sharing our content, especially on Facebook. It's been absolutely awesome still, even after Chili Bowl. Our numbers are still up. So appreciate all the people that share it. Really does makes us motivate us to want to do it more. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking to Chargin Charlie Mefford here, one of the guys who captured a gator this past couple of weeks. So yeah, we're going to talk to Charlie right after this short message.
After the Scales is proudly presented by DJD Graphics. From commercial and personal vehicles to racing bikes and cars of all makes, models, and disciplines, DJD Graphics can fully customize your vehicle to suit your needs. For more information, contact Darren and visit his website at www.djdgraphics.com. Tell him Sean and Jacob sent you to receive special rates.
And welcome back. We are here with Chargin Charlie Mefford, the Pit Lizard Pimp himself. He has taken some time out of his busy schedule golfing to join us. How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, Jacob, Sean? How you guys doing?
We're good. We were just talking in our pre-interview segment. I don't get to see you race in person ever. I'm up in Canada, and so it was kind of cool getting to see you actually rip around the track for once. How'd you enjoy your speed weeks?
We fired off really, really good. Thursday we was kind of just shaking the car down, making sure everything was going to work. Just me and Dad put the whole thing together, really. So I just kind of a little nervous, running on the racetrack the first time, making sure everything was going to stay together. And of course, just kind of getting information on the new dirt. Everybody was talking about it, the Rudiments. So just kind of went down there. I'm not going to say new to everything, just kind of trying to get the notebook wrote down. And then Friday, of course, we was really, really good, and we passed Wallace there for the win. And that was really cool. And then a Monday we got another win, and just from there on, man, it seemed like they just kept putting water and water to the racetrack, and it just kind of made the racing no good, man. It's like the more and more water it got on it, the faster it got, the harder it got to pass, the rougher it got. Just stuff like that, man. Just kind of hurt me in my racing program because I anymore if it ain't smooth and slick, man, I just seem like I can't get it done.
Well, looking at your stats, in 8 features, you got the 2 wins, the 5 top 5s, and 7 top 10s. So definitely a solid start to your 2026 season. Obviously, picking up the Gators is pretty cool. I know Nick Hoffman kind of was saying, everybody kind of gets a Gator nowadays, but it's still a really cool trophy and really neat event. I mean, you guys are there for 2 weeks, just nonstop grinding your ass off, racing. So hats off to you. And you talk about your racing program. You don't have a big top crew chief that you hired and a bunch of crew guys helping you out. It's really just your family out there grinding, working on your stuff, and you're up there with the big dogs.
Yeah, it's me and Dad. We're a self-funded team. Me and him, we go in and we share a lot of it. And Mom, of course, she comes to the racetrack. She keeps everything looking good, and my helmet tight and stuff like that. Suits clean, And of course, yeah, we do have some, of course, great sponsors that help us get up and down the road. Without them, we really couldn't do it the way we do. Yeah, but I mean, throughout the night, I'm the one cutting tires, adjusting on the race car, doing stuff like that. I mean, it's practically just me and Dad working on it. Like when we went up there and won at Eldora, me and Dad was the only two in our trailer. We don't have no crew guys. We don't have, like you said, no crew chief, no car owners, nothing like that. It's just me and him, and a dream of go out here and win a bunch of races as much as we could.
So you're out there hitting the links. You told us that you're 3 under after 9. So I
Yeah.
have to look at
Yeah,
the scorecard.
no, I think it was maybe 13 over after 9. I'm not a real big avid golfer. Long time listener, first time caller. I'd say today was like my first ever serious game. But we did good. We hit the driver real well. Just our putt game, we get to the late stage of the race, man. We just go away. The putting game, it's almost like your soft tire going away. Man, you're good there. You're good, and you got confidence down to about 10 to go, and you shit the bed.
Hey, if we could all put our golf game together at the same time, none of us would be doing what we're doing. We'd be on the PGA Tour, right?
Absolutely. Sign me up for the Masters, man. I'm going to get a green jacket.
So I wanted to ask, the last couple of years, there's after Volusia, there's a pretty big gap in the schedule. What do you have coming up? What's on your radar?
The next thing I have on my schedule is to go work for Tyler Nicey on a street stock at a Needmore. So that's a pretty cool thing. Me and Tyler, we're really good buddies. The past few years, I've taken some time off. Especially last year, I took all my complete summer off and went and chased the Summer Nationals championship with him, which was, an absolutely incredible experience. We ran up the road every night with Tyler Erb, and it was just a cool thing to experience. I know, like, if he asked me to do it again, absolutely, in a heartbeat. But no, we got the Southern Street Stock Series we're gonna run this year, me and him. I'd say it's 10 street stock races, and we're going to go run that, and I'm going to help him on that. But for me, my next modified race, I don't really know. I'm probably going to do about the same thing I did last year. Just pick and choose, stuff that makes sense to go race,
And for the viewers that might not know your backstory, you started out with the go-karts. Just kind of work us through your whole rankings of working your way to the UMP Modifieds. I know a lot of drivers have aspirations of going to NASCAR and all that stuff, but just kind of what some of your short-term goals and your long-term goals that you see yourself going through your racing career.
Yeah, it's a funny story on how it happened. So my mom has family that kind of like help manage a little go-kart track, maybe 5 miles from my house, probably not even that. and I had a cousin that raced go-karts. So I went there one time, and I was so young, like I really like we went there a few times actually. I'm sorry, and like I didn't really care about it. I was just happy to go there and play with the other kids. I'm like four or five at this age, so I'm just my attention span's not very big. So I'd go to the racetrack, and then Dad would come over and get me and be like, "Listen, this is your class. You need to watch this. Kind of learn." So Dad ended up buying me a go-kart, and the first time I ever sat in this thing, he wasn't even at the house. It was my mom and my sister, and they fired me up, and the throttle hung on it, and I ran this go-kart up a tree. So I wouldn't get back in it for the longest time because I thought I had a ghost in it. Well, I get back in it, and I go out there and race, and I win my first ever race. Is a lot, like, you'll hear about that a lot, and I think that's funny. Like, most of, like, your good race car drivers, I'm not saying I'm good. I'm terrible. I suck. But like you'll hear about a bunch of drivers go, "I won my first race." And I just think that kind of declares like, yeah, you're a race car driver.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of just started off like a little local, just kind of go kart, just racing on a flatbed truck. We take a wash bucket for tires and a go kart. That's it. So then we started off doing that, and then then we started going regional go kart racing, started winning them, and then we kind of travel a little bit more, started winning them, and then we went down south to your North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, stuff like that, and won them, which I couldn't get here, especially through the go-kart ranks, if it wasn't for like Derek Brooks, Jerry Hurt, Josh Evans, Daniel and Alan Armstrong, people like that. They schooled to me in the race car driver I am today. So 2017, I won 3 leather jackets in 3 weekends. A leather jacket, like, kind of notifies, like, a national championship or whatever in a go-kart. And I won 3 of them in 3 weeks, and, like, pretty top dog. So I won the junior one light or heavy. I can't remember which one it was, in the Tri-State Pro Series, which was, like, the top series at the time in go-kart racing, like, the Plummetable Series. The next weekend I go out, and I win the Maxis Nationals, which is, I like to think, the biggest go-kart race in the country. Like, if you win an orange leather jacket at the Maxis Nationals, you're somebody. And then the weekend after that, I go to Dumpling Valley, may it rest in peace, and win the Burris National, which is kind of the equivalent to the Maxis National just on Burris tires. So, I mean, I don't really know if anybody's ever done that a day in their life, but I got lucky, and, I had a really good people behind me at the time, and, we capitalized on that, and we won all 3 in that weekend. And then after that, well, I wouldn't even say really after that, which me and Dad, we've always talked about it at that time. What was our next step? I looked in the legend car racing at one point, and I was this close to racing legend cars on asphalt. And then I got hurt, you could say. I was racing at fast tracks in South Carolina, and I spun out off of the corner, and I sat in the racetrack for half a lap. Like, my motor died. And some dude coming in, I mean, I'm talking about running dead last, back there with Casey Mears at the 500, came in there and smoked me right in my side pod. Quite literally almost broke my leg. So that kind of was an eye-opener for us. And they ended up and went and bought a modified. I was still on crutches at the time when we went and bought this B-Mod for Mark Bush. And we ran a B-Mod kind of all the way through the year, which a B-Mod is the same frame as a modified, but it depends on where you are in the country. Like, a UMP B-Mod is, same exact frame. Bodies can be a little bit different, spoiler wise, and of course, your sides and stuff like that. Which the sides and the quarter panels, the roof, not much difference, but like your spoiler and stuff. Some of them do have different tire options. We still ran the same tires on them. And a motor and shocks is the biggest thing. Shocks, you can't build a shock. They have to be standard or whatever. And then you can only run like a spec motor or a 602 crate. And of course, we just had a 602 crate in it. And then at the end of that year, we went up and went to Oakley and got a big motor for 2019. And that's kind of when I started racing A-Mods. And the next year after that, we started racing with Elite Chassis, Nick Hoffman. And we've kind of had this whole package since. And kind of the same thing with go-karts, man. Started off just racing locally in a B-Mod, and then kind of moved up to regional, and now we're kind of we're getting to the point where we're starting to expand our options on where we go and race. And that kind of leads us where we are now in my career.
I'm sure you're tired of being asked about your dome interview, so I won't get into it too much. I mean, I had no idea who you were until that point. Like I said, I just don't see you guys race up where I am. But I am curious, like, how has your life kind of changed? Like, how has it changed from before that interview and then I'm kind of immediately after that?
To contrary disbelief, that's two big words for me, man. I'm gonna give myself a round of applause here. That was really good. Like my attitude towards everything and like the way I go about everyday life hasn't changed a bit. Like if you ask, I mean, yeah, a bunch of people will tell you, "Oh yeah, it's just Charlie." Well, it is. Like I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm goofy, man. I just have a good time with everything I do. But absolutely, it changed. You know, like it kind of had to change quick. You know, I had to go from nobody knowing who I was to being really professional, or you know, kind of having the spotlight on me 24/7, and like I just had like a lot more attention, which I always wanted. Like I always wanted to be known in dirt racing, like so bad. Like I wanted to be a household name, and I kind of just had people come up autographs, pictures all the time, which I like. I mean, that's one thing I do love. I love having a connection with my fans. Like anytime anybody walks up and asks for a picture, I say absolutely yeah. Like and I always like actually thank them for getting a picture because without them I wouldn't be with where I'm at. And then walking around and seeing people have my name on their shirts, man, that's one of the coolest things because yeah, exactly my point. Because I mean they were going to spend their hard-earned money on on like my brand. I mean that's just it means a lot to me because I mean. They don't have to do all that, just I'm just a redneck boy from Kentucky just driving race cars for a living. So I mean it's super cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say something that has changed for you is the merch sales. I mean, you can't go to a racetrack that you're not racing at and not see a Charlie Mefford shirt, and including us, me and Sean. It's pretty cool down there in Victory Lane. We're watching you, get the big Gator trophy there, and then you're over here like, oh, there's the guy from TikTok, which is super.
Yeah.
And immediately, me and Sean were like, oh, we gotta go buy Charlie Mefford shirt tomorrow. So go down there. We see you eating a slice of pizza, and we go to
Dude, I love their pizza. God, I love their pizza.
And we buy a Charlie Mefford shirt from the Race Ranch trailer. So talk about that connection, Matt running the Race Ranch trailer, and people can go and find your merchandise not only at the Race Ranch trailer but online at their website as well. Talk about how that came about.
So it's kind of funny. So we was at Clarksville Speedway. This is I don't even think I think it was Summer Nationals, or I don't even know if I was racing. Maybe it was the Tulip Bowl, but it was 2020, and Race Ranch was just kind of, starting to catch some steam and wheels and stuff like that. And we was like, when you going to do us a t-shirt? Mind you, 2020, I was a 13, 14-year-old with a mullet down to my ass crack. So, like, it was, and then we ended up doing a t-shirt, and the t-shirt's hilarious. It was a cartoon picture of me, and, like, I had my mullet and everything. So, I've been with Matt since 2020, actually. And so, like, he's been here for a while, and he'll be here for hopefully years and years to come. Funny story about the dome, actually. So after all that happened, like, place was flooded with people buying all my Pit Lizard Pimp t-shirts and stuff like that, and shirts that we had there. It crashed the card reader, sold out at the racetrack, sold out online, and broke the website in the span of maybe 30 minutes. And like I tell everybody he still has nightmares about it to this day. But yeah. Speaking of the website, you can always go get Charlie Mefford merchandise at raceranchwear.com/Charlie Mefford Racing, and that's for all your Charlie Mefford Racing apparel needs. Shameless little self plug there.
Oh, hey, we'll put that on the screen. We'll put it down there. Jacob, did you have anything else? I don't want to keep him too long since he's on the.
Yeah, I just had two funny, quick questions here to end it before we get into our rapid fire segment. Number one, obviously, you told us you're there in the Villages, the largest retirement home in the world there in Florida, not too far from me. So number one is, have you had any grandmas asked to sign autographs on their chest? And number two, since I'm wearing a Charlie Mefford shirt, a chain, I have a mullet, and a camo hat like you, am I the Pit Lizard Pimp now too?
You for sure give me the TikTok version of it. There's a lot of people out there that try to be me, and I don't know why. Like, I'm a sorry sack of shit. I don't know why anybody wants to be me. I suck at being a race car driver. But no, I have not. To a many people's surprise, I have not had any sugar mamas come up and ask me to doodle on their boots.
Well, hey, the night's still young. I mean, it's
Night
7
is still
o'clock.
young. We are smack dab in the square of Sumter right now, as they call it. And the band's going. They are doing the cha cha slide as we are sitting here speaking. So I'm sure all the grannies and their panties are up there getting after it.
I was gonna say a Wheel of Fortune's over in half an hour, so all the lights in the town will probably be going dark.
Dude, I'm gonna miss Wheel of Fortune. Damn, I do like Wheel of Fortune now. That's one thing I used to watch it. I used to watch with my ex old lady's mama all the time. Shout out Erica Smith.
All right. So before we let you go, we normally wrap it up. We've got a 10-question rapid fire segment presented by DJD Gear. We got a little special treat today. We can't afford Kenny Wallace to come on here to Gothy with Kenny, but we do have Jacob Wallace to do Decaf with Dove. So
I like that. I like that a lot. Decaf.
because Jacob doesn't drink coffee, so I came up with that.
Well, I do. I love me some coffee.
Yeah. All right. So go ahead there, Jacob/Kenny Wallace.
Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. I'm here with my good friend Charlie Mefford, UMP Modified star. He beat me the other night and won himself a gator. Now, we got some 10 questions for my brother Charlie.
This is awesome.
And the first question, I'm going to de-bullshit it for all you keyboard warriors because they think he's the number 3, but it's actually the 13. He's got the little 1 on the front. So our first
little 1, big 3. That's it.
Why the number 13?
So my grandfather's Little League jersey is always hung in my house. And me and Dad, we was coming home one day. He's like, I don't know what. So I used to be the 66 for Route 66 off cars. And that jersey was in. I don't know why we changed my number, but that's how it happened. And then the little 1, big 3, we're going to split that in half. 50% of the blame goes to Tyler Nicely. 50% of the blame goes to Dale Earnhardt because I had a Dale Earnhardt scheme on that first A mod I had, and it was a little 1 and then big 3 because 3 for Dale.
And I got many nicknames. Herminator. And you got some nice nicknames there, Charlie. You're Chargin Charlie and the Pit Lizard Pimp. So which one do you like better?
Depends on what time you ask me. If we're at the racetrack, Chargin Charlie's nice. Anytime after that, Sir Pit Lizard Pimp at your service.
Now, I love me some Texas Roadhouse. Whoa.
I love Texas Roadhouse, he says.
And you like Texas Roadhouse. So what's your go-to order there?
So I was supposed to go eat Texas Roadhouse last night with a very special lady. It's either I get an 8-ounce ribeye, I think, medium well, medium rare. I'm sorry, I don't like chewing on forever. With a baked potato cheese only and steak fries. But there will come a time I will get me a crispy chicken salad from the Texas Roadhouse because those things are.
Now, my brother Rusty said I have
awesome.
really bad eyesight, so I only checked my notes here, but it says that you like Culver's. So what's your favorite menu item?
Culver's, just stock standard cheeseburger, man. Plain.
And being from Kentucky, I mean, I'm from St. Louis. You can find me in St. Louis, but you're from Kentucky, Charlie. So what has the best sweet tea in Kentucky?
The Mexican restaurant's pretty good. I don't know, man, anymore. Some of the best sweet tea, you can probably go buy it. And this is not a plug. I wish they would sponsor me, but Milo's Extra Sweet Tea, it's the purple jug. And that is and maybe almost as good as homemade sweet tea. If it don't like come out the cup like syrup, it's not good sweet tea.
Now, I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan. but you like the Tennessee Volunteers.
Go Vols, baby. Go Vols.
Well, you got to tell me, Charlie, who's your favorite player of all time?
On the Tennessee Volunteers, football, dude, I miss him every day. Hendon Hooker's probably my favorite. Well, I'm just going after I started watching because I used to be a Kentucky Wildcats fan. Oh, well. After I started watching football, it's hard to beat the duo of Hooker and Hyatt. May we miss Hendon Hooker. And then the basketball side, give me the other three of Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect was a baller like nobody's ever seen. White boy magic.
Now, if you had to decide between Windy Hollow and the Dome, which racetrack do you like better, Charlie?
Dude, I love Windy Swallows. I don't know. I like the Dome. I just suck there. Which I suck at Windy Hollow, too, so it don't really matter.
Now, I love me some music because you can find me in St. Louis. But
yes.
What's the song that you like to listen to, Charlie, on race day?
I don't know. In Florida, we listen to a lot of MAF Ski, Sexy Red, Glorilla, stuff like that. And then we can wind it down to like some Zach Top, stuff like that. You know, they do call me Zach Bottom. Man, it's just a variety of things. You can't pinpoint it.
Sexy Red. I don't know what you're talking about, Charlie, but
It's like Sexy Red with two Y's.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Charlie. Whoa. But good for you. Good for you. All right, we're getting down there, folks. So, do you have a hidden talent that race fans don't know about?
I could do tires. Evidently, I'm not bad at golf. Sorry, I seen a pit lizard. Like I said, Zach Bottom. If you find me at a Cruiser Street Stock race, like I said, I'm going to be at least 10 of them this year. Zach Bottom will be performing. Small alter ego, he can sing. That's about it.
All right, we're riding down there. Let's get serious, Charlie. I mean, I got the 3 for Dale on my mug, and Earnhardt used to say, "Hey, Wallace!"
Dude, this pit lizard is walking my way. She's like at least a good 8 out of 10.
Well,
we might have to slide.
We're going to have to wrap it up, Charlie. You go do you. You chase after that tail, Charlie, but we got one more question for you. We're doing it for Dale, but we're also doing it for Scott Bloomquist. And that was
absolutely.
So the last question I have for you. Favorite memory of Scott Bloomquist? You were holding the 0 up to me the other night at Volusia.
What's my favorite memory of Scott? I probably can't tell you my personal, but most definitely the window net. Probably the window net. That was pure world domination.
All right, then that wraps up the rapid fire segment. That was some good comments by Charlie. But respond right here what you think of Charlie's comments down below. See ya.
Dude. That's awesome. I'm telling you, this Jacob Dove's impressions are great.
Oh, man.
If you don't follow my man on TikTok, I'm telling you, them things are A plus, man. He got me pretty good. He got me pretty good on the Dome one. That's when I really was like, dude, this guy's awesome.
I really appreciate that, Charlie. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Shameless plugs all night long.
I don't even know where to start with you guys. That was so good.
That was perfect.
Charlie, we'll let you get back to the back 9, and then I don't know, maybe you got the 19th hole coming up. We'll see. You can take that for however you want, but
let me get the driver out for that one.
All right, dude. We appreciate it.
Yeah, my pillar done walked off, so I mean I'm out on that one. But
well, just
I'm telling you,
take the emergency brake on and go get it.
She's with her mama. I don't know which one I wanted.
All right, dude. We'll let you run. Appreciate it.
Yeah, just like I said, like to thank all my sponsors that get me up and down the road. Like thank you guys for bringing me on. This was a blast. This is my first time I did a podcast, and I don't know how long. Sorry I couldn't got a better location for y'all, but I kind of just asked it to my my life. We just be on side quests, man. Just a Neff son on a side quest. That's all it is.
We'll definitely. You are welcome on any time, my man.
Yep. Like I said, just really want to thank you guys for bringing me on. If you ain't following them, follow them. If you ain't following me, well, you're doing things right in life. That's all I gotta say.
Yep, everybody hide their grandmas, moms, sisters, cousins. Chargin Charlie's still in Florida. Thanks, Charlie, for being on, and we'll catch you at a track hopefully sometime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, I don't know if I'm gonna be back down here next year, but if not, we're gonna sink y'all.